The Dragon Ball Z TCG is a game designed for the sophisticated gamer. The hosts of Team Visiting for Time, well, we are none of those things. We can be rude, we can be crude, and we can't go 5 minutes without offending someone. So, we ask that you, the listener, be mindful of your surroundings, maybe even have your parents' permission before listening. We don't take this show too seriously, and neither should you. So listen, learn, but most importantly, laugh and just enjoy the show, you nerd. The Dragon Ball Z TCG is a game designed for the sophisticated gamer. The hosts of Team Visiting for Time, well, we are none of those things. We can be rude, we can be crude, and we can't go 5 minutes without offending someone. So, we ask that you, the listener, be mindful of your surroundings, maybe even have your parents' permission before listening. We don't take this show too seriously, and neither should you. So listen, learn, but most importantly, laugh and just enjoy the show, you nerd. Alright everybody, it's about that time again, Team Visiting for Time, coming right at you out of YouTube land. And joining me this evening, I have Chris, Horror Rocket, Kimber, and Dan, Bodymore Smith. How you guys going?
Not bad.
Dan is currently driving, so he'll have to excuse his end, but, you know, we'll persevere. And already chat is going free the butler. Oh, God.
I think we pissed some Americans off.
Yeah, maybe just a little. On tonight's show, we will be talking about Nats, what was, what could have been, and what wasn't. Then we'll head through some of the spoilers that we've missed in a couple of weeks leading up to Nats, which is Namekian Radiant Mastery, Cell, the Cell Junior Allies, Cell Name Cards, Cell Junior MP stack, and his associated name cards. And then, quite possibly, the most contentious topic that has come out of Dragon Ball Z in the last, well, how long would you say, Chris? Month?
I don't know. This is the most... Oh, I don't even know what to say about it, but it's definitely the most something of the game.
But yeah, let's crack right in with it. And as soon as the image loads up properly, there we go. Namekian Radiant Mastery, continuous effect. Whenever an Earth Dragon Ball you own enters play during combat, raise your anger 1 level. While 3 or more Earth Dragon Balls you own are in play, your attacks deal +2 life cards of damage. Power. If less than 3 Dragon Balls you own are in play, search your life deck for a Dragon Ball and place it into play. Gentlemen, what do we think of this Namekian Mastery?
I want to say it's amazing. I actually don't know what to think about this.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, like it seems like it has the potential to be stupid, but then, like, I just don't know.
Yeah, I think it's funny how if your opponent controls 1 or more of your Dragon Balls, you own them, right? So your attacks get +2 life cards, even if your opponent controls them.
Yeah, that's nice on a mastery. Like, if you've got, I guess, Gohan on level 2 with Heritage Drill in play, you know, everything's doing +6.
yeah.
You got
Go on, Chris.
if you eat like you only have to eat 6 or 7 attacks with that sort of mod on top to be losing the game.
Yeah, it's very strong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Life card, the extra life card damage certainly can. I think it shores up a bit of like the lackluster damage output that Namekian can sometimes have.
Yeah.
Piccolo was in the set 1 to 3, and sort of even going on 4s a bit further. It was sort of notorious for not having the ability to crit very well, or with as much ease as certain other cards or styles rather. But
yeah, you're not wrong. It's like I think the most interesting thing about it is the power. Like if you control 3 or less Dragon Balls,
no, it's not even control. It's if less than 3 Dragon Balls you own are in play.
Oh,
so again, if your opponent's holding 2 of your Dragon Balls, you can go search up for another one.
Yeah, so and the Earth Dragon Balls have a bunch of power, like Dragon Ball 7 lets you rejuve one, I think.
Yeah, I'd have to bring them up. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, so you'd be getting value off this power, and it speeds up the already stupid-looking Dragon Ball victory that Slug's going to be.
Yeah, I'm just going to mute Dan very quickly.
Yeah. He's quite crackly.
Yeah. Actually, I'll do that server mute so he doesn't come through on your end. He can just message us when he wants to get back off mute. I think. But are the Earth Dragon Balls good enough? You know what I mean? That's the question I've had since I've seen this. A couple of them do some cute things, but on the whole, they sort of don't. I don't know if they're enough. Like, this mastery is enough to get me to want to play all 7 of them.
I think if you're going for I'm just going to put the balls into play using the mastery and other search effects that Namekian has to offer, it's not really going to matter. Because you're not really getting the value off them anyway, other than the Ball 7, which is once
played from hand, right?
No, once per turn as an action, you may place a Dragon Ball from your hand into play. That's 7.
Oh, right. I was thinking more of the end combat effect.
Yeah, no, that has to be played from hand.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ball 6, which protects your balls from you being banished. I actually it's funny, I was talking to Nick earlier today, and he said it's funny that the Earth Dragon Ball's the only deck that they're going to actually fit into better than the Namekian Dragon Balls is a Namekian deck. And
yeah,
I think he's correct.
As you say, with all the inherent search for the Dragon Balls Namekian has, they sort of seem like the best fit in Namekian. But that's happy to be proven wrong, I suppose.
It's always hard to sit here and talk about what's going to be great when you haven't had time to test. Like, I personally haven't done anything from the new set because I was taking a break this week.
Yeah, and I typically myself don't like to test the new sets until everything's been released, or at least spoiled. Simply so I have a better grasp of what's coming out, what's getting a better replacement in the new set, and I'm not getting I don't find myself getting shoehorned or attached to a card which has just strictly speaking, there's a better card being printed in the new set.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I've seen it in many different games with many different people. Occasionally, they get attached to card X, for example, and card A from the new set is just better, but they can't bring themselves to test with it. And of course, things like the most contentious topic of the week.
I was just about to say that.
Occasionally, throw everybody's testing into the down the shitter, basically.
Well, I can't say it through my testing down the shitter because I'd already tested it a long time ago.
You just threw an entire deck down the shitter.
Yeah, I'd like. I actually had high hopes for Roshi still being viable, but the hit from Devious being gone and the main anger engine of the deck sort of puts it into the ground, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll move off of Namekian Radiant Mastery on to Cell Level 1. Power. Use when entering combat. Search your life deck for an ally with Cell Junior in the title and play it. Power. Destroy the top card of your opponent's life deck. Shuffle an ally in play into its owner's life deck to raise or lower a player's anger 2 levels.
They seem to be making these MPs do more and more every time.
Well, yeah.
They're just squeezing more and more powers onto them.
Yeah, I don't mind this level 1. Comparing it to the previous level 1 cell, I think I like this one a hell of a lot more. It's potentially 4 anger in that Namekian Restored deck.
Yeah,
2
yeah,
from
not
your power,
wrong.
2 from the Restored Mastery, and 2 from this power here.
Especially when all you want to do in the cell deck is get off level 1 as quickly as possible.
Well, yeah, you just want to get to that level 4, level 3 and level 4. And this gives you like add a Dragon Ball that raises your anger, and there you go. There's 5 anger, and it hasn't locked you out of MPPV at that point either. So
you're protecting yourself from Unleashed.
Yeah, in a way. It's I don't know what else to say about this level 1. Like I don't see it having too many. Like it doesn't seem to have any hidden tricks, if you know what I mean. Just looking at it and looking at the ally pool that Cell can use.
I'm not seeing it as anything like I'm looking at it as a like a Ginyu.
Yeah, I can understand that,
but I can't see it like as any better than Ginyu. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean we'll get to the Cell Junior allies after we get through the 4 levels of Cell, and maybe we might have a quick look back at the other previous Cell levels just to sort of see it. But yeah, yeah, I agree. It sort of seems like a bit of a Ginyu. Yeah, the shuffling in an ally, that's cool. Raising or lowering a player's anger is also very cool. So we'll see.
It destroys the top card of your opponent's life deck, which I guess is not nothing.
It's gonna be like I shuffle in your ally, destroy the top card of your deck. It's a tug. Okay, bye, Cell Junior. Fuck yourself. Cell level 2. Power. Use when entering combat. Search your life deck, discard pile, or banish zone for an ally with Cell Junior in the title and play it. Power. You may set your MP to its 0 power stage. Destroy the top 3 cards of your opponent's life deck. Shuffle an ally in play into its owner's life deck. And of course, it has the Cell penis. What you see that you cannot be unseen. So, well job, Panini. Good job, Panini. Well done.
I don't know. I'm feeling that this is just a like. Why does this touch the banish zone? Why do we even have a banish zone?
Yeah, it sort of seems to be heading that way. I still think I'd rather play the old level 2. Make your opponent's non-style attacks cost 1 stage, and you banish a card from your hand to find a styled card.
I could see playing this if the Cell Juniors actually were good.
Oh, they combine to be alright.
Yeah, maybe.
The other thing is slightly... I mean, like, he gets to... What 1.5 is F, is it not?
Just, I think.
Yeah, so he gets to F at max at level 2, but his power stages drop off pretty quickly. Yeah,
I don't know what to think of it.
I think
setting-
you probably want to play the alt 2.
Yeah.
The entering combat power is cute, but setting your MP to 0 in the current metagame just seems like suicide.
I don't know, if you've got lots of allies out, it should be fine.
Well, don't forget, Cell Junior can't gain stages.
Yeah, that's true.
So it doesn't take too much to, turn them into blanks.
Yeah. But then you can shuffle them in and bring them back out readily.
Yeah. To destroy the top 3... is destroying 3 cards off the top of your opponent's life deck worth setting your power stages to 0?
Well, you don't have to. It's
true,
you may set it to 0. Destroying the top 3 cards and shuffling an ally could be potentially powerful if you're playing against another ally deck, but
what have you got? The Evolution Goku who goes, I could use this dude. And you just go, I'll shuffle him away. Same with Ginyu, I guess, but
also, if you had those blue drills that draw cards on entry and exiting of allies, this could be okay. If you planned on camping on this level, I guess.
Yeah. As I said, I think if I'm going to play Cell next set, which, given my affinity for Cell, could be a thing, I'm probably playing alt level 2.
Yeah.
Level 3. Use when entering combat, search your life deck, discard pile, or banish zone for a Saiyan ally and play it. Physical attack. If you control 2 or more allies, destroy the top 5 cards of your opponent's life deck. AT plus 6 stages. I quite like this level 3.
I was going to say, we're getting into flavor country now.
Yeah.
Destroying the top 5 of your opponent's decks, not a small thing.
Yeah, it's too but I think the most pertinent thing here is I'm just going to search for a Saiyan ally. It's suddenly Turles. Turles and Nappa are already seeing play in the Cell decks because why the fuck not? And now Tug of War's not even a safety net for you. I can just go grab Nappa from the banish pile.
Yeah. I also like the fact that Namekian Chest Explosion now can hit for roughly 1 million life cards.
Chest Explosion can hit for Cell Junior allies? Oh, lordy.
But then, I don't know. I feel like I'm playing bad allies to get a subpar effect sometimes.
I don't know. Between Turles, if you have all 3 of those Cell Juniors, Turles is suddenly doing plus 5 stages on top, so you're now at AT plus 11.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm destroying the top 5 cards of my opponent's life deck just as a secondary effect, an immediate effect. That's not bad. You look at the old level 3, you go, can't prevent the damage, can't prevent the damage, 7 life cards, banish 5, level up. I think probably doing comparable amount of damage.
I think at this point too, you're happy that you've gotten here without needing to forego MPPV as well, whereas the old Cell level 3 sort of forces you into giving up that win con.
Well, I mean, you have the choice to banish. If you want to camp alt 3 and just go, I'm going to smack you for 7 every time. It's block or see your deck evaporate. I mean, you can. But as you say, this is not forcing you to give up a win condition. And I honestly feel like it's doing a comparable amount of damage.
I think I could easily see this doing just as much damage. Like you said, with Turles, any sort of... this is an AT plus 6 attack, any sort of plus 5 mod, you're getting just gravy after this attack.
Yeah, that's so you have Cell in play, say you have I can't tell you how many times, in my Cell deck, you have Turles and Appa in play. So, there's +3 off Telos alone. If you add another 1 or 2 Cell Juniors, you're getting 4 or 5, if not more.
I was going to say, God forbid your opponent's playing a Saiyan.
Yeah.
You're in Goku.
Yep. So, you can quickly add on quite a lot of damage. I like it. I'll have to play with both the levels and just evaluate where I stand afterwards, I think.
Yeah, like I think they're different builds.
I agree.
Like this could well even be a Saiyan MP, like more than a Namekian.
Yeah, possibly.
Because
I think it sort of fits in a blue tag fairly nicely as well.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know if I'd go with blue tag because he's sort of circumventing the advantage blue tag gives you anyway. So why?
Yeah, but you're then making them work doubly hard to get rid of your allies.
That's true, I guess.
If I'm searching one up in the banish pile and then rejuvening one in the banish pile at the end of combat,
I suppose, and then that lets you get them back out of your deck if you aren't on your higher levels.
Yeah. Jonathan Runs is saying, Black Cell Mill taking over from Wheelo. Yeah, there is an interesting mill potential from coming out of Cell. Level 4. This card's... It's just a reprint. It's a most recent printing. That simply adds the text. This card's non-instant power can only be used once per game. I feel like they copped out. I really feel like they copped out here.
I'm okay with this. Maybe. I don't know. We all speculated on what the level 4 was going to be.
Yeah.
I honestly never expected this to happen.
No, I agree. I also really don't like the artwork on this level 4.
Yeah, he looks a little bit skinny there.
He looks like a fucking heroin addict. I love Cell, but this guy looks like he's strung out on smack. Do we need to say anything about this level 4? I mean, we all know what it does, I think.
I think, and we all know that it's great, so...
Yeah,
possibly
card advantage, lowering your opponent level, it's all just gravy.
Don't think I'm quite ready to say that it should be unnerfed yet, but I'll tell you, Unleashed is making me think about it.
Oh, well, when we get to the controversial topic, I do want to have my bit to say about that card because fuck the rage levels. Oh, fucking hell! And I realise we'll talk about Nats after. I realise I said we'd start with Nats, but
Yeah, I'll get the business out of the way.
Yeah. Cell's Provocation is the named card. It's an event. If this card is it has a parenthetical text stating that if this card is rejuvenated during combat, destroy the top X cards of your opponent's life deck. X is the number of allies you control with Cell Junior in the title. Power: return an ally in play to its owner's hand. If that ally had Cell Junior in the title, destroy the top 3 cards of your opponent's life deck. A lot of text for a lot of potential mill.
I don't like this card.
Yeah, I can see why people are going, oh, this is going to mill people for days. It's going to destroy people. At the same time, okay.
Yeah, if someone's got in your early game, you've drawn this into your hand, they've entered combat, you've got a card that does essentially nothing.
Oh no! I mean, it'll do because your level 1 finds and you can do 3 life cards.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
it's just I can't get past the okay, I'll bounce my ally, you'll mill 3, and then Broly says eat 5 double strikes.
Yeah,
it's just not doing enough for me.
Yeah, I want to give it a go, but at the same time, Cell style is great, especially with Roshi running around, Cell Star was amazing. If there's any... Cell Star's actually still really good now, even with like Cooler. Stealing Cooler's Supernova is amazing fun. Broly's attacks, to a lesser extent, are also really good. And then like Cell's draining attack, so...
Yeah, I can say like Cell Style's an amazing card, and I don't see this getting played over that, and that's getting cut to 2 or 1 in some builds at the moment.
Yeah. Hello, Jacob. Thanks for tuning in. He's saying, hello, all you sexy men. Considering the listener base is probably all men, barring a couple of women. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, self-fabrication.
Just before we go any further, Jacob, fantastic to see 20 at Nats. I cannot believe how big of a fan of that deck I am, and I was happy to see their top cut.
Self-fabrication is the red-headed stepchild of the named cards.
And nobody likes red-headed stepchildren.
Yeah, it's fun to beat around a couple of times, but you don't take it seriously. Leading us into the first of the Cell Junior allies, we have Cell Junior escaping. Jacob saying, "Thanks, man. I love it too."
Yeah, no, I was fanboying over the deck a lot.
For which reason?
The fact that it's just the deck, man. I've made myself very clear on how much I like that deck.
Yeah, it was particularly good to see at Nats on day 2. This personality cannot gain stages, which is something that is shared between all 3 Cell Juniors. Continuous effect. When this card is leaving play, you may banish it to destroy the top card of your opponent's life deck.
Yeah, I don't know. Why is this a thing?
Because they had to make Cell Junior multiple times.
This could have said Rejuve 1. This could have said your attacks do 1 stage.
Like draw a card. That'd be cool.
This could have been any sort of mediocre effect that no one would ever play and still be better than this.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you can't gain stages is kind of irritating, but what do you do?
I guess you bounce them and shuffle them and banish them a lot.
That's yeah, it's very clear that's the idea. Cell Junior Trapped. While you control 1 ally, your effects that destroy cards from the top of your opponent's life deck have that amount increased by 1. If your MP is Cell, your opponent's attacks deal -1 life card of damage. Half a hiding drill.
Yeah, this seems good.
Black no, Black Capture won't work. Jonathan runs. It's designed to be bounced and banished, and just milling that extra. Yeah, this is true, but I agree with Chris. It seems lackluster.
I guess you could add all these effects up and then be like, do something, but...
Well, I mean, with Cell Junior Trapped in play, Cell Junior, was it Escaping? Yeah, back and have a quick look. Escaping. You're now destroying 2 cards.
Yeah, but why does Cell Junior Trap say while you control 1 ally? Like, why is this This whole set seems like it has limitations put on it for no reason.
But it doesn't. Cell Junior, and while you control 1 ally, bam, there's Cell Junior in play.
Yeah, but then you want to control more than 1 ally,
Yeah, no, look, you do, but...
Maybe if you played tag and just had this one, maybe? I don't know.
I think this one's better than the last one, but yeah.
Just want to check the chat, Nathan. I think we've got Jono trying to come in.
Jono trying to come in on
the stream.
Oh, right.
He just needs to be invited into the chat.
Why are there 2 people? Jono, do you want to tell him to join the first chat room and then I'll drag you in?
Yep.
Okay. Cell Junior Unrelenting. Physical attack. Your allies you control cannot perform attacks this combat. Damage. 3 + X stages. X is equal to the number of allies in play with Cell Jr. in the title. Hit shuffle all allies you control with Cell Jr. in the title into their owner's life deck. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I understand that these are going to be recurred and stuff, but like these are all really, really just ordinary effects.
Yeah, the power here is definitely playing them in concert and having them in your deck. But yeah, I don't know. Again, with the new Cell level 3, having these 3 guys will amount to a fair amount of damage.
Yeah, like, and plus Turles makes them somewhat better.
Yeah.
I don't know. There could be something really broken that I'm missing. I'll probably get wrecked by this in the first regionals I play next season.
Yeah, quite possibly. Giotto's telling us that he's good.
Well, good's a bit of an understatement.
An understatement or an overstatement?
Okay, no, los dos.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm here doing a stream about DBZ when I could be playing Battlefield 1 or playing my sexy PlayStation VR, which, yeah. But anyway.
I'm just here because I had nothing better to do.
Well, I mean, the story of our lives, right? Jonathan runs to say, don't forget, Cell Juniors are not designed to with allied decks in mind. They're designed with being used with the new Cell MP. This is true. But they still... I mean, like, they just don't feel strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't get behind this at all.
It's strength in numbers, that's all.
What was that, sorry?
Strength in numbers.
That's it. As we discussed, if you have Turles and these 3 in play, that's, AT plus 11 on his level 3 attack. Cell's level 3 attack, which is cool.
I think Turles is styled cards.
Oh, it is too. Well, wop.
I was going to say, we were trying to make it good.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's some good styled attacks with, like, Aerial Knee for a bunch. That seems good.
You get backhand too.
Yeah.
The thing you're trying to do is you're trying to fit the Cell Juniors into existing decks, whereas they're going to require their own deck. Yeah,
this is 100% true as well. But, like, your level 3 is finding Saiyan allies. If you're playing Cell, you're not... I mean, are you really going to leave Turles alone? Are you going to leave him home? Are you really going to leave Nappa home?
Jacob says that they...
Yes, no, depending on the deck.
Yeah.
He thinks there's going to be good synergy with Nappa and the new attach card that doubles the non-AT attack damage. I could see that. And I actually really, really like the idea of this deck. I'm a big fan of Nappa. It's disappointing that at the top of the peak of what Nappa can do, you just become Broly. But it's Nappa.
Everybody loves Nappa. Jonathan saying, if you play the Cell Mill deck, I'd leave both behind. Yeah, I mean, this is true. And I'm going to say it now, and knowing that it's going to beat me at some time, but like, I just don't think the Cell Mill deck is going to have the legs.
Yeah, like, I'm not the world's best deck builder by any stretch. But yeah, I just can't see it being something that I'm going to have to take seriously in the next meta. Especially when you've got things like Vegeta threatening to throw 4,000 attacks at you each turn, all doing like 400 damage.
Or one attack for 4,000 damage, you know. And like, yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not a deck builder. If you build it, I will come, sort of thing. So if someone has a Cell Mill deck that seems to be good, let me know. Be interested to have a look, but yeah.
I'll post a picture of you with like as a skeleton, still waiting for a Cell Mill deck.
Yeah, pretty much. Cell Junior, the level 1 of the MP stacks. Your life deck may contain up to 3 copies of each ally with Cell Junior in the title. This is parenthetical text. As an attack, it's a physical. You may discard an ally with Cell Junior in the title from your hand. If you do, this attack cannot be stopped. Damage 4 stages. Hit. Search your life deck for a card with a continuous effect and play it. Boom. I like the idea that like you could pitch, you could hit and search up like a smoothness drill.
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how much I like pitching a card to make it unstoppable. I guess in black it could be.
Yeah, but you're pitching an ally with Cell Junior in the title to make it unstoppable.
That effect is only good if you're entered on, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to enter with a Cell Junior in my hand just to make an unstoppable attack to get a Cell Junior that I'm replacing.
Yeah, look, I agree. But given the fact that you can play with 9 Cell Junior allies in the deck, and people probably will.
But you are right about the whole continuous effect. I think it's better to search for drills than it is to search for a Cell Junior.
Yeah. Or maybe another ally that you sort of want to find. But then again, that's making like if you're running 3 copies of each Cell Junior, now running 10 allies if you run that. That's getting into a Newcastle amount of allies in a deck.
I was going to go with like the highway to the danger zone there.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, I want to build Cell Junior. But yeah.
I don't.
Oh, but you don't like fun things. Look at that face.
No, you're right. I don't like fun things. I like slow, painful, grindy things.
So, how's that slashing wrist going after the last couple of days?
Oh, mate.
Slow, painful, grindy. Level 2, Cell Junior on the move. Continuous effect. Once per combat, you may discard an ally with Cell Junior in the title from your hand to stop an attack. Physical attack. Damage is 5 plus X stages. X is the number of Cell Juniors in your discard pile. Like, new Saiyan Mastery, plus this.
I like
an
this
Omni
a lot.
block every time I draw in with Cell Junior.
That makes your attack better.
Yeah, exactly right.
I actually really like this level.
I think if Unleashed wasn't a thing, I would just go to Blue Dominance because I have a hard on for Blue Dominance decks.
Look, to be fair, Blue Dominance is also a nice, easy way to get to level 2. But as you say, it's weaker to unleash than just simply starting on level 2, is it not?
The problem is that you are going to accidentally level yourself with that same mastery. Unless all the cards that you run have anger in the text at some point.
Oh, that's easy enough to know. Okay, moving right along. Just never throw an attack.
That's a good, solid game plan.
Block your opponent to death.
Worked for Roshi.
Yeah, it worked for Piccolo for a while too. Yeah, it's not a tricky level. This one, is it?
No, it's definitely very meat and potatoes, and I like it.
Yeah,
I like the fact that your allies become omnis.
Yeah, unspherable omni blocks too, which is the best thing about it. Unless, of course, your opponent's playing 13 and is at level 3 and hits you, and then you're like, well, shit, I should have thrown that block. Cell Junior level 3. Continuous, you may rejuvenate an ally with Cell Junior in the title from your hand to stop a physical or energy attack. Physical attack, search your discard pile for 2 allies with Cell Junior in the title and rejuvenate them. Damage, 1 life card. Hit, search your life deck for an ally with Cell Junior in the title and place it into your hand. So, like, this is just like, oh, you've discarded 8 Cell Juniors from level 2. Here, just put them back in.
I feel like this is just the hybrid loop that level 4 Cell gets, but bad.
This is why I feel like that blue would be better for the Cell Junior, because once you pitch all those Cell Juniors, you get up to 3, run that drill every time you rejuvenate an ally mill 2.
Yep.
And this already feels like a better tech idea than anything that revolves around Cell level 3.
Hey, you take that back. Cell level 3 is glorious.
Sorry,
He's
level 3.
He's doing the fucking can on the new one, and then the old one he's punching in the face until your balls fall off. I love it.
I don't know. I got to agree with Jono on this one. This does sound like a more solid plan than what the Cell level 3's got going.
I think the hard thing will be getting Cell Junior to level 3.
Yeah. You can always
have to run the dominance. You can just unleash up there. Blue does have that ridiculously amazing blue rebuke.
You also get Smug Punch, which is really tasty as well. It lets you cut back on some of your anger control, which is going to be needed.
Cell Junior level 4. Continuous. As an action during combat, you may banish an ally with Cell Junior in the title from your hand to destroy the top 3 cards of your opponent's life deck. Your physical attacks that do not have AT base damage deal +3 stages of damage. Don't all jump at once.
I don't see myself ever going to this level.
It goes completely against what every level prior to that does. So you're putting the cards into the discard pile at level 2, and then rejuvenating them at level 3.
And now,
so
if they're in my hand, I banish it.
Yeah, but then you've got to get them back into your hand. Whereas if they're rejuvenated without shuffle effects, they're just going to be sitting at the bottom of your deck, which is the biggest problem with Dragon Ball decks. So I think that's going to be a problem with this.
You play tag team, you're on that blue attack, can't remember the fucking name of it. It's just like, yeah, that's it. Oh, look at that, it's a Cell Junior. Oh, he's on top.
Yeah, I don't know
if that's a good enough plan, though, so...
You get any number of ally searches, too. Like, you got Sobering Hammer and Overpowering Attack and stuff, which shuffle your deck. That being said, you could have burnt through all of those by the time you get to level 4, especially in blue.
It's quite possible.
And now we're already talking about, 9 allies, some dominances, a couple unleashed, a rebuke, all these other cards. So what are you attacking with in this deck?
That's exactly right.
Hopes and dreams.
You know what? I want part of me wants Cell Junior to win Worlds, just for hilarity. But then, part of me wants an Australian to win, so don't play Cell Junior. Or do if you have the list, and then send it to me. Cell Junior's Swarm is the first of his named cards. It's a physical attack that deals 1 life card of damage. Seeing a trend here, aren't I? Hit. You may banish any number of hero allies and or allies with Cell Junior in the title in play. Your opponent destroys the top X cards of his or her life deck. X is the number of allies banished this play. So if I have all 3 Cell Juniors in play, and they're playing Namekian Restored Gohan with a bajillion fucking allies in play, and this miraculously lands, I can mill them for 15. Oh.
And then a sneaky, what's that terrible card from set 4 or 5 that's never seen play until probably this moment?
That's very descriptive. That narrows the list. Slow down.
So there's the card that mills based on the amount of allies in your banished zone. It's got Yajirobe pulling.
I was going to say, was that not just fucking Android 17? No.
No, I think it's Yajirobe pulling at something. I think it's set 5.
I vaguely remember the one you're talking about.
And you can search your deck for up to 3 allies and banish them.
Seems good.
It's an event, right?
Yeah.
Blue wash?
No, blue wash returns them all to hand to search your deck for an ally.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it for you guys.
Blue something or other. But again, this is pretty narrow.
The idea wouldn't the idea to be to thin your deck out of all these crappy cards, use that as an effect to mill them for a lot, but then you've got 30 to 40 cards of complete staples.
Just Jacob's saying Blue Fear.
Blue Fear is the black.
I was gonna say,
blue black command.
Yeah, discard, gain some anger, crit effect, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, what were you saying? Sorry, Johnny. The idea was to thin out your deck of your shitty cards.
It's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just... I don't see anything that would ever make me want to... Why is this banished after use? I don't know.
Because it's so powerful, bro. It's so powerful.
Yeah, I just like... I don't know. I'm not at all fussed about Cell Jr.
I like him. I'll probably end up building it and then probably shelve it until like 3 sets later. Cell Jr.
When you've had about 10 whiskeys.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do with my life?
Next year's Nats is a side event because I bombed out again. I'm like, it's 0-2 Scotch. I'll go play Cell Jr. in a winner box or something like that. Cell Jr. Surround event. Power, search your life deck for 2 allies with Cell Jr. in the title and place him into play at 5 stages above 0. Shuffle this card into your life deck after use.
This is okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's something.
It puts a bunch of... Can you have the same ally in play twice?
No, I believe it's probably going to fall under the like that named. You can't have 2 blah blah
like
yeah. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that'll be the case. Unless he's level 1 said something different. Let's go back to level 1.
Well, it doesn't, but there's never been a reason to clarify whether or not it works like that. Because you've only ever been able to play 1 of each ally?
Well, I mean, there was that black card which lets you steal an ally, and it can be the same one as that you can then play. You can play your own ally. I'm pretty sure that'll be the ruling here.
Yeah.
So I imagine that no, you can't. So this is only ever going to find at max like 3 Cell Juniors, and you have to play it twice to find 3.
It puts them in 5 above.
Well, this is true. But so does overpowering attack.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Just not... It shuffles your deck, actually. That's something.
Yeah, I mean, it shuffles back in, so, I mean... That's kind of cool.
Alright, I've returned.
He has returned.
I do have one comment on Cell Jr. generally, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Is that the biggest irony is that his biggest counter is Cell. You can handle style, that's Cell's Junior's named attack, and ban their board.
It's a block, though, like... Nah.
I think this happens a lot in this game. Black Roshi searching the shit out of everything, and Roshi ally not letting you search. That sort of thing. It happens a fair bit.
Yeah. Well, where do we stand? Yay, nay.
I'm probably never... You probably never see me playing this deck.
Oh man, you wait, I'm going to brew up a spicy brew.
Niche at best.
I'll hand it to Reese. Reese will probably win with it. Yeah. Do we want to talk about Nats? I think we should talk about Nats before we go on to the other topic.
I had a great time at Nats right up until I missed top cut by one wall breaker.
Do you want to go into any further depth, or is that all you want to say about Nats?
No, I'd rather not relive the situation.
Fair enough.
I did better than last year though, so I can't complain.
You know what? Purely by the numbers, so did I. My game won, man. Oh, I'm a bitch about Unleashed for about 20 minutes after we finish talking about the next thing, and then I'll probably still bitch about it next stream as well. Jono, do you want to talk about your Nats?
Oh, my shopping expedition? Or the half an hour I was actually at the event?
I was going to say, how many rounds did you play, John?
I know we played at least 3.
Well, look, I didn't finish 98th because Nick Copperbottom dropped before me. I think he was 98th because I think he was the first to drop. So I think we established that 3 people dropped at round 2. So like, the longer I hear about how people went, the higher up I went. So give me about 6 months, and I'll probably finish in like the 40s.
I mean, I dropped at round 6 when I picked up my 3rd loss.
Was I the only person in the team that played the entire tournament?
No, I think Reese did. Reese was going to drop to play the winner box, which didn't end up firing, from memory.
Yeah.
And he played through. Nick played through, did he not?
I'm not sure.
Well, that was Nats. It was a good event.
I did have one positive.
Yes?
I did win the team event.
Well, yeah, that's always a positive. I know Chris was placed with 2 other guys, and I've heard about that.
Yeah, I apparently am not part of team visiting for time for the purposes of team events.
To be fair, you were still playing when they signed up, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that was a good event. We had, well, of course, David already had his invite, so, you know, good on him. And then Fahad managed to snag a back-to-back win.
I will say something before we leave, Nats. My game against Reese in the final round of the Swiss was amazing.
Absolutely great game to watch.
I actually, like, it's salty, or salty's not the word, disappointed. I was never salty. But as disappointed as I was that I did miss out top cut by such a small amount, the game was amazing, and I couldn't have asked for a better opponent. It actually was up there rivaling the games that I had against Fahad at Sydney Regionals and various others that I have ranked in my top games ever.
Yeah,
Actually,
no. Sorry, Dono?
Speaking on Reese, I did commentate and watch the game that he played against Toby, and I actually have to kind of agree with you in that Reese was one of those people that really did step up for nationals. I know it was Rufus Broly, and I could probably talk to you until about this time next year. I mean, sorry, saying Broly. So Broly generally.
Yeah.
I could probably spend until about this time next year having a rant about how terrible for the game Broly is.
Oh, no, mate, that's coming up after the controversial topic of the day. We can rant about that
excellent,
shit. Yeah.
Excellent.
Because, boy, howdy, am I going to unload on Unleashed.
But see, Toby fell victim to the one thing Toby falls victim to, in that his deck building is so superior to most people that you'll see, in that he flew back from Vietnam less than 48 hours before Nationals and went undefeated. But then to go into top 16 and know that in beating Broly, he has to abuse the hell out of Red Powerlift, actually lost him the game.
Yeah, right.
Because Reese had Saiyan Face Strike in his hand twice.
Oh. Yep, that'll do it.
And that made that game so one-sided. But that's my whole thing on Reese and Nationals.
Yeah, no, look, I enjoyed it. The only thing that gave me the shits all day was probably Unleashed. But after my round 1, that was, I think it was a pretty good takeaway. The day was good. Now Unleashed is shit.
The weekend was good.
It was.
It was definitely made me look forward to next year.
Yeah, I'm already sort of. I think you and I were of similar minds. We're going to take a bit of time off, but I think we're just getting ready. Like we're sort of keen for OP to start up again. So.
Yeah, I said I was taking time off, but I've already built 2 new decks for the new season.
Well, let's crack into the controversial topic. The topic which has had people banned from Retro and shit posting for the last, 24, 48 hours now. This right here, Black Command. So at least it's getting a reprint. This is the most recent printing. Huh?
I swear to God, like 15 people have been banned from Retro today.
So this card is identical to the last, except for the parenthetical text, which now reads: if this card is discarded from your hand, you may banish it to raise your anger 2 levels.
I believe it actually reads, I'm a shit card now. That's what it says in the parenthetical text.
Alright, is anyone on stream going to defend the nerfing? Or would I be likely the only one to sort of play devil's advocate here?
Hello. Alright,
Chris, unleash. Get it out of your system.
Oh, well, I actually have to say I've exhausted myself ranting over the chat over the last 2 days.
Our team group chat on Facebook for the last couple of days has been... It's gone from about 95% shit posting like to each other and the occasional bit of talk about DBZ to like 95% 2 people in particular bemoaning the death of Black Command.
I'm not of the opinion that this did not need a change. It definitely needed to be stopped.
Do you think the corruption nerfing would have been more in line?
I think making this in line with corruption is exactly what it needed, because you could no longer discard it in your end step or by passing. That stops it. That stops every problem that anybody had ever complained about it. You've essentially killed the slime anger that Black had. I went through my Roshi deck, and this is why it hit me so much. I was I put every ounce of my gaming effort into Black Roshi for the last 6 months or whatever the OP season was. And this one nerf has killed the deck, because there is 3 other cards in the deck that gain anger. This is now a bad Blue Fear, and how much does Blue Fear see play?
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, this card with the Conflict Mastery is 3 anger.
Yeah, but you're also putting yourself a card down.
Yeah, but
it's just not enough.
Yeah, we've talked back and forth in the group chat about the Panini stance on a passive line of play. And I know you're very pro, I want to be able to sit down and just passively go through the game. But I think, and as I said, I don't think a player or a deck should be rewarded for ignoring perhaps one of the biggest parts of the game, which is the combat step, the combat phase, whatever you want to call it. I've seen you and Nick do it. You'll slumber. You'll put 2 commands there, or you'll have 2 commands lined up, ready to go, and you'll just pass your way through combat. You'll take a little bit of damage, but the upside is here. Look, I've gained 4, potentially 5 anger.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There has been many times where I've slumbered, put 2 or 3 commands in my hand, and then let my opponent hit me down to 20 cards so that I can put the 3 of them back in.
At which point, your odds of drawing into another command or 2 are getting much better and better.
Yeah, when that happens, it makes the card broken, and something needed to be done about that. There's no argument. Killing the archetype altogether is not what it needed. And I will go on record, it'd probably be unpopular, but if you couldn't deal with this card, you're a bad player.
I'll get Scott Dashy on the line again, shall I?
That's fine. I will, I'm willing to sit in front of anybody and say that you are bad if you can't deal with Black Command. I've never lost to this card, not once.
I think that the over nerf was only in the banish part. Because I think what's the other one? Corruption. Has a more game-breaking effect, and I know it's just in combat.
Good Games Gold Coast is saying Beerus. Would that be Damien? Would I be?
I'll come in on this one. I played against a Beerus, a deck that had Beerus in it it was tagged. They put Beerus into play the very first time, and it's actually really not hard to play around.
It's yeah, I can also attest to that. But again, the deck wasn't. Yeah, Damien. Hey, Damien, congratulations on second place, mate. The deck wasn't tooled for Black. It wasn't tooled for Beerus in there. I think Beerus was just like, holy shit, this guy is powerful. I'll put him in the deck and see how it goes.
Yeah, I definitely think that was probably the case.
I think that if you built a deck with Beerus in mind, like you built your deck around Beerus and some of the interactions, I think it's certainly a much better card. But you can't just slap Beerus into any old thing and go, ha! I've got the answer to Black Command, Hybrid Defense, and blah 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 blah, because you don't.
Yeah, no, it was literally just a case of me waiting till I was the active, they were the active player, and then I'd discard my commands. Yeah. You could say it actually made command fair, because I just had to wait till they entered combat to use it.
Yeah. Again, I think I will never go on record as defending Black Command. It was very, very strong. The recurrence was strong.
I don't think it was very strong as enough to say how strong this card was.
Yeah. I think, much like Corruption, I think it should have perhaps just lost. It should have gained the you need to discard this in combat to do what it does.
Or even just discarding it and it not shuffling in. Like, there is a million other ways they could have made this and not killed certain archetypes, but they just went, hey, no, you don't get to play.
The question I have is, though, like, Panini obviously has a lot more... They've got better records and better... and a greater data set than we do. Do you think perhaps they were looking at their OP and going, every deck that can is running 3 and it's putting up these results. Should we perhaps take a look at this and do something about it? Or do you think it was a case of the squeaky wheel got the oil?
Yeah, I think it's the latter there, because what decks that run Black Command have won regionals this season? I think there was one Black 13.
I haven't looked that much. I'm pretty sure a Black Devious Broly won one of the ones in the States.
And I'm pretty sure the Black Cooler ran it too.
Like, if you're going to talk about decks that top cut that are a problem, we need to talk a lot more about Broly and Ruthless than Black Command currently, I think. But yeah, it needed something. Like, no one can argue that.
The thing I do agree is that the problem with some of the cards, and it's the first time I've heard a legitimate reason to freeze the set 1 masteries, is that you look at some of the cards that are coming out in set 7, you're like, oh, they're alright, but imagine if the set 1 masteries were around.
Yeah.
I think Black Command is now at a point where it was limiting what they could do with Black's anger than without nerfing it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, Reese said it. Excuse me. Reese said it when we first saw the Frozen list, and his thought was that the Frozen list isn't so much a banned list per se. It's a case of we'll put these cards on here so we can reach a point in time where we can unfreeze them when they're not perhaps as bustedly good as they are currently. It's an interesting way to sort of... He thinks it might be a way for them to sort of curtail any power creep that is occurring or will occur in the future. And I have half a mind to think he's probably on the money there.
I have been talking about it with Nick, and I don't think Enraged ever can come back with these new cards. Things like Bubba and Red Inferno, you get 3 crits when you draw your hand for turn. That's 3 anger that you're gaining by drawing your hand. That's never going to be allowed to happen. If I can't command, there's no way that that's happening.
They're going to nerf it to 1 per draw.
Like, even 1 is ridiculous. But yeah, like...
What's the combo? haven't had.
So, because Barber is your card effect, whenever you draw a card, and the moment
Inferno
it's
reveals. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the moment, how the game currently works is because you do things one at a time. You draw one card at a time to then crit.
Yeah.
But I think what they're going to do now is
they say the draw is simultaneous.
The draw is draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Which, let's be honest, that's how it should have always been.
Let's be honest, Panini should have used clearing from day one.
I as a score player, I think that it's a lot clearer than it once was.
I'm not saying that's not the case, but there is certainly, if you're good enough, you could certainly rules lawyer and talk your way through things. It's kind of like the early days of the Magic PT. If you're a good enough speaker and understood English well enough, you could argue anything and have a judge rule in your favor, even when you were wrong. But yeah, Black Command, love it or hate it, it's been changed. At the end of the day, we sort of just have to go, okay, Panini, your game, you do what you want.
I was going to say, yeah, there's nothing you can do about it now. It's like, as angry as I am that I now can't play the deck that I played for the whole season and planned on playing all next season.
I have a question to ask both you guys. Sorry, Chris, you finish off.
I was like, what can I do? I've just got to go find some way to make something else work, I guess.
Adapt, evolve, and succeed.
I will say that I'm very much not a fan of the slower, more controlling decks are getting less. What's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to make people shy away from the slower decks.
Yeah.
It baffles me why people aren't complaining about the stupid aggro that is in the meta at the moment.
Well, we'll get to that in a sec. My question to you, Chris, and Jono, if you have a thought or an opinion, feel free to pipe up. What if they went about this in a similar sort of way they went to the nerfing to Smooth and Strill? If they said, for the next OP season, we're going to have Black Command will read this, we're just trialing it out. Do you think you'd be a little more receptive to the change, knowing that there's the potential they could go, no, this is too much, we can change it a different way, or do you feel like that would probably just be as bad?
Like, if they changed it to what it is currently and then just said that it was a trial.
Yeah, so you know how they've gone, Black Command is currently a limit 1 per deck until, while we wait and see how that pans out. Do you think that would have been a better way to go about it?
I definitely would have been a whole lot less angry about it, I think. Just to know that the fact that they would see it, not seeing play, and then turn back the nerf a little bit.
You try something else. I don't know how many people work on the game, but I think a lot of the problems I've sort of had with the game sort of seem like with a bit of playtesting or more extensive playtesting, they'd all come out in the wash. But, that's just my own personal thought. Which does echo how I feel about this goddamn card. Fucking Unleashed.
This card is just not even... It should never have happened.
I own 3 of these cards now, and I will play them at some point. But fuck me dead. How much value do you want to give one card?
I think it's ironic. Well, not ironic. Ironic's a terrible word to use there. I think with Unleashed, it came at exactly the point that people finally realized that 3 spheres wasn't necessary for decks.
Yeah.
And that's actually where the irony was coming in, is that at the drop of spheres is now exactly when the one card you most want a sphere comes out.
This fucking one card, like, I played Aussie Nats. if Nats was tomorrow, I'd still probably play Cell. I still think that deck's got a lot of potential. But like my entire deck basically dies to this one card, which then and this is in every Broly deck under the sun, which now forces me to hold onto a card which is dead in my hand 90% of the time. I don't care if they time. Whatever, big fucking deal. Most of my cards that are in the deck because they have effects that I want to use, and the damage is just, that's just gravy. But this one fucking card, game one, I had my opponent was playing Red Ruthless Broly. I had him Wall Break it at level 1. I had Nappa Turles in play. 95% of the game. 95% of the game. And then he goes Unleashed. And I had the spear in hand. I've gone, well, okay, spear. And then he spears. And I just go from 4 to 1, and that's it. Like, I just cannot come back from this one card. He gains 3 levels, goes to 4, and that's the end of the game.
I ranted very, very, very hard when I was testing against this. The Ruthless Broly deck. I got Unleashed on the first turn of the game. They won the dice roll, drew 3 cards, and killed me that combat.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that day.
That should never ever be allowed to happen in any game. I didn't get to draw. I didn't get a draw step. I didn't get a, hey, how you going? It was just like, we're not playing this game.
Yeah, bend over, take this, lose, let's go.
See you later.
Yeah. Like, we've discussed this personally, Chris and I. And there is no downside to playing this card. You cannot win through MPPV. Well, boo fucking who. Whoever's playing this card doesn't want to win through MPPV. Like, there's literally no downside to playing this card. Sorry, the only downside is playing it first. Because then your opponent goes, I Unleashed. That's not even really a downside here.
No, because then you get to draw your second Unleashed.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, when a card becomes its own counter and then you've got it like... There's been points where I'm like, I need to play Android Armbreaker to stop this card. And like, when I've got to run a hate card for one card, that card's too powerful.
And like, it's not even that. You need to run probably 2, if not 3 copies of that one card to defeat one card.
Yeah. Like, you could argue that Wall Breaker's the same, but there's a lot of cards that gain anger, and Wall Breaker's a catch-all for anything that gains anger.
Yeah.
There's Blue Dominant... Oh, go, Jono.
What's actually even worse about Android Armbreaker, because I wanted to jump in as you said that card, is that because there's full stop after the leveling effect, because Android Armbreaker is only your opponent's effects,
they can drop you.
If you're at a point where you can't MPPV, they can then pitch it to lower you a level. So your counter to Unleashed actually can be your downfall if you're running a deck that doesn't MPPV. So you can't do it in Tag Team 13.
Yeah, which is arguably the deck that probably has the best access to it.
Like, people complained about Cell's level 4, and I love Cell. I've played the Cell deck since I could. And yeah, Cell level 4, very, 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 very strong, quite probably broken. But yet not an utterance about... Sorry?
Old form or current form?
Oh, old form.
Right, of course.
And people they railed against that level 4, as hard as I could. But like, you ask people about Unleashed, oh yeah, no, it's strong, but it's okay. Fuck off.
And there's a big difference, right? And it's very simple. It's because people like playing Broly.
Yeah,
I hate Broly. I hate Broly from the show. I hate Broly from the movies. He's in the thing for an hour. If you would even want to consider Bio Broly a thing.
Yep.
And people love him. And to people who like Broly, I hate you.
Yeah.
What is it about Broly? Like, you could literally like anything else.
I'm not going to... I'm not going to say that people...
You can be a fan of Kui and wish for an MP set for Kui. And that's cool. You go for gold. But Broly is just... he just hates Goku.
There's no character there. Yeah.
There's no character. He's just someone who was so anti-Goku for literally baby reasons.
Yeah. You'll never hear me seriously say that your favorite character in pretty much anything, you shouldn't like them. But like, if you like Broly, good for you. But like, I don't think people, anyone who tries to sit there and defend Broly as an MP stack and say that, oh no, he's not, he's healthy for the game. You fucking what? Like
Broly is worse for the game than Cell ever was.
I would agree.
I was one of the only people who probably was against the Cell nerf.
No,
because
I was also against them.
I think there were decks that people didn't utilize enough against the Cell meta. The Blue Vegeta deck that a few people were running was the hardest counter to Cell that you will ever see. And it was the time of Hero Vegeta.
Yep.
And it's probably the only time we'll ever see that level 1 used again. As good as he is with Blue Conflict, Goku does it better.
Davian's saying 3 Sober, 3 Armbreaker, and 2 Sphere. I was kind of safe. Yeah, there's like...
it's like you still say kinda, like... That says it.
Yeah. Like,
at least tag team can also get back to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You dominance back to 2, and waste the 1 more dominance, and then banish him again.
Yeah.
What we do.
Yeah, as I said, I was at level 4. I think the only mistake I made in that game was probably to fetch a hybrid defense when I should have just grabbed a non-spherable Fizz block. But I remember thinking at that point, I need to put more cards back in. But again, by the time I got dropped back down to 1, that was it. The game's over, and it's over because of 1 card. That has like no downside to being played. This card should probably get an errata. It should be an either. You pick. You either go up or you lower your opponent. It should not be just I'm going to do both.
Actually, it should be banned.
Well,
it was such a brilliant idea. I thought what Panini were trying to do with the card was so good. It really was. Like it's made attached cards a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the execution of the card has just been so poor that it's concerning.
I said a couple of times at Nats that if there's going to be a card which is going to be emergency banned, I'd be confident in saying it's this.
Do you think that this would be a problem if Broly wasn't good? Like
yes.
The MP stack?
Yeah, I still do.
We're now still I've been talking with people, and we're even hearing things of Slug Unleashed, Cooler Unleashed, Cell Unleashed. Like, there's just the MP stacks, and now you could possibly even run like Goku Unleashed next set. It's ridiculous. There was one I think that actually cut in America that ran Roshi Unleashed.
I was going to say there was an Unleashed Roshi at Nats.
There was one at Nats, and there was one that top cut at the last or the regional before that in America.
I was also considering the Unleashed cell list. With that bloody, what's that Namekian card that turns your attacks into style or whatever the name cards into style.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. The name cards into style cards, so you can search out cell style every time.
Yeah. And I ummed and ahed over it. I went, oh geez, if someone's you very easily get myself to 4 if someone goes, here's a wall breaker, and I go, okay. But like, yeah, it's just this card. And I always find myself when I talk about cards or decks that are very, very strong, going back to Magic, because I played that for quite some time. But this card sort of feels to me like Core-Blade in a lot of ways. It's going to warp the format. You sit down against Broly and you just go, this is not going to be a fun matchup. And I get that not every game you play is going to be fun. it's a game. Someone has to lose. I get that, but you sit there and you go, oh, "Fucking hell, this is just we might as well." As soon as you see it, it's like, well, I tried. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I can't say that I've ever sat down against a Ruthless Broly and said, well, this looks like it's going to be a good game, because it never is. Like, it doesn't matter what you draw in that deck. You enter combat, you throw whatever attack you've got in your hand, and you just keep punching until they die. Like, there is zero interaction in that deck. You talking about MTG, it just feels like I'm playing against Infect.
Mm-hmm.
Or it just feels like I'm playing against Storm, where the Ruthless Broly player comes to the table to play a game, but they're not playing a game against me. They're playing a game with themselves.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess you guys played WoW.
I did not.
Oh, congratulations.
I know, right?
One of you.
However, the boys did get my girlfriend playing it, so fuck those guys.
But do you understand the joke about Face Warlock?
No.
You used to just roll your head on the keyboard and you won that way. And so that was the joke, is that you would literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you would kill everything in PvP.
Yep, fair enough.
So that's how I feel Broly is at the moment. In every deck but Ruthless, you could give someone a Broly deck, and they will probably win a few games, even if they've never played before. Your luck. Ruthless, it's a bit of a different story. You can face roll your way through with Ruthless Broly as well. I think in Top Cut it's a bit of a harder story, but I don't think the deck's very fun either, unless you're playing as Red Garlic, in which case that's fun.
To be fair, Broly is ruining the format, in my opinion. He's just not healthy for the game. I get it. He's a all-powerful Saiyan. He beats face. I get it. He's the aggro Fizz beats guy, and I feel part of me is like, hey, at least physical beats has a place in the meta right now, because for the previous 5 sets it kind of really didn't. But what do you do? Like, you either play Broly or you play something. It just feels like you either play Broly or you build a deck that beats Broly, but that's basically all it does. Which is fine if you enter a meta where it's just everybody's playing Broly, I guess.
Like, it's like when you look at a game and then you say what beats this deck, and you can't name a deck that beats it. Like, even the decks that are good against it still die in that one turn that they get off, and you happen to draw only 2 blocks. Like, you can still draw 2, 3 blocks and die.
Yeah.
If you want PTSD on drawing blocks and dying, just grab David Spencer. I know he's got the invite, but you have to feel sorry for how he lost his way out on Brisbane Regionals. He had 4 blocks in hand.
Yep.
And died that turn.
Yep. Yep. Like, I don't even want to, I'm not even asking for a deck that consistently beats Broly. I would like a deck that, has at least a 50-50 matchup, as opposed to the staggering, the mountain that it is to climb to beat the deck now.
Actually, I've got the perfect comparison. It is mid-range Shaman.
Yeah, it really is. We're talking mid-range Shaman while Rockbite is still at 1 and Tuskar Totemic still does fucking what he does.
No, actually, mid-range Shaman's probably come out as a result of those nerfs because of what else that patch nerf.
Yeah. All of that Hearthstone talk for all of those players of Hearthstone.
I was going to say, I have no idea what it's all about.
Okay,
Jono, you and I are going to start up a Hearthstone podcast.
Okay, I'll put it into layman terms for people who don't play Hearthstone. Basically, mid-range Shaman at the moment, it's not necessarily the best deck, but it's got such a good win rate against every single deck in the meta at the moment that it's a bit of a face roll deck. And I think at the Australian qualifier, or the Oceania qualifiers, every single person ran a mid-range Shaman. There was not one person in the qualifier who did not run a mid-range Shaman.
Yeah.
when you're bringing 4 decks and you've got all the variety of options for every single person to bring that one deck.
This is why in like Conquest you just ban the mid-range shaman. You go, I'll deal with everything else. But yeah, like, what does chat think? What those of you who are listening, chat, what do you think about Broly? Where do you stand on it? Do you think Broly's perhaps a little too dominant in the meta, or do you think that we're all Jono's saying fuck Broly? Well, Jono, you can say that on there, not just in the chat. Or do you think that we're perhaps being a little melodramatic about the whole thing?
Yeah, I'd actually like to hear from someone who plays Ruthless Broly. Like, is there something that we're not seeing?
Actually, what I'd like to see is someone who can defend Ruthless Broly that has also done something with something else. I say that in the nicest way possible.
I 100% agree with you, and I'm not nice. I challenge anybody to come and have a game with me with anything but that deck and win
consistently.
Yeah, I think that's the key here, right? We're talking about consistency. Damien was saying I was playing 13, so I could give 2 fucks about Broly. Well, I mean, you should probably care about your spelling and your grammar. There's no full stop. Broly is a proper noun. 2, I think, is spelled TWO.
Fuck. Although impenetrable defense does fucking ruin Broly's day.
That is how he beat David Spencer in top 4. That was actually the finishing blow.
Yeah, well,
David Spencer was on 0. He threw an attack. If it hit, it kills Damien. He blocks it with impenetrable defense and mills David to death.
Impenetrable defense is a good shot.
Ironically, an impenetrable force. What's the unstoppable force meets the
irresistible force meets the immovable object. Yeah,
and the immovable object won.
David saying, yeah, sure. Damien, mate, whilst you're in the chat, you know you're very clearly caught on camera at the Brizzy Regionals, drawing 4 cards, entering your turn. Actually, that's another interesting topic of discussion. Jono, I'm going to bring this up, and you probably don't want to talk about Newcastle Regionals, at least the end of it. Do you think that in a match where you have recorded footage or like a stream, do you think that they should be allowed to make a ruling from the stream? Go back and review the tape, as it were?
See, the only reason I was arguing it is because Christelle literally said she didn't see it.
Yep.
In a top 4 match, I don't know how a judge misses it. I don't know what was happening. All I know is
David says yes, he got messaged.
If you have the technology.
If you have the technology.
I think he got cut again.
Use it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've got to say, I'm going to argue for the other side of this. There's players in the Pro Tour, Magic Pro Tour, that don't get access to streams just because no one else in the tournament gets access to streams. Yeah, you have the technology there. Why not use it? But you could be getting an unfair advantage to someone that lost in the Swiss due to the same problem.
I'm pretty sure one of the most recent occurrences I have on the Magic Pro Tour was Patrick Chapin. I cannot remember which PT it was, but ostensibly he missed a trigger or something like that and was saying, you have the footage, review it. And not long after that, I'm pretty sure they came out and said, where we have the footage, we will use it and review it to make judge calls. But I tend to agree that rulings should be consistent and fair across the board, that Joe Blogs down at table 30 shouldn't, their ruling should be the same as if someone was on stream, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's a rock and a hard place because it was just Christelle that day.
Yeah.
Whereas in America, I think for some of the regionals, once you get to top 8, there is a judge who sits and watches each game.
Yeah.
1 judge per game. And so a judge will know what has happened at that point, because I believe that the thing is that in my circumstance, the reason I was saying review the footage was because if it was a repairable game state, then it would have been a final warning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because like I've been baited into a judge when we did our local championships. I would think that especially for streamed games where you're trying to showcase the game, I think there should always be a judge for streamed game. At bare minimum.
I agree. One really interesting discussion though on the topic of non-streamed games, and this is probably throwing it a little left field, but it's one of the more interesting discussions I've had about the game so far.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on Saturday night, and we were out for dinner. It was like Fahad, David Spencer, myself, Simon, Harry, Kwan, and yep. I can't remember how many of us were talking about it, but we were talking about once per game effects.
Yes.
How it is currently is that unless there is proof, you're supposed to believe it's the benefit of the doubt lies with the person using the effect.
Yeah.
Neck-in with Earth 7.
Yeah. I can see where you're going with this.
Cell with level 4.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to enforce that on a non-stream table? And this is where I say that if you have the technology, use it. Because you could have someone who's used Earth 7, shuffle it back into their deck, and then go, I'm going to use it again.
Yeah.
And you go, and the opponent goes, no, hang on, you've already used it.
Yeah.
You get a judge to come across, and there's no footage, there's nothing, and person A, Joe Blog, says, no, I've never used it. And person B, Peter Smith, he's like, no, he's used it already. Yeah. So are we almost going to consider it a point where we're going to have to get with once per game effects? Call a judge over to say, hey, judge,
this effect's been used.
His Earth 7. This effect's been used. And I really don't want it to come to that. But this is where my argument for the if you have the technology, use it stands.
Yeah. Yeah. Shut up, Reese.
Where's the rest of the boys? Where are you at?
He's not over at my place playing Battlefield or my VR, that's for sure. Oh, man. But yeah, to get back on the point you raised, Jono. Look, I think at the end of the day, the game's creators, and I think everybody in general, goes out and assumes that the players are going to play the game the way the rules dictate they do so. Which means if it says it can only be used once per game, then that's all you can do that. They're relying on everybody playing the game being truthful and honest, and if you're not, then you probably need to take a good hard look at yourself, to be honest.
I agree. The other thing is what if you literally forget?
That's exactly right. And Jonathan Runs in the chat said, if you really need to, have some paper and a pen, and when it gets used, note it down and have both players sign it. That's probably not a bad idea.
And that's another thing, is that was one of the other ideas. That was one of the things I had suggested to David as a response. And he said, like, this is just like going almost in a lawyering argument, is like, then literally that opponent could say, oh no, he wrote that down as he called for you. Or as they called for you.
Still bitching about Unleashed. Not yet, Reese. That's true too. But, I mean, you then have to go and then justify why you've signed it, saying that, yes, you've used it.
I think signing is a bit overboard. But,
I think...
Player.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to a point, if you really honestly cannot trust your opponent, then, yeah, you should have a piece of paper or at least, like something attached to the score pad that says once per game effects used, and like Panini knows what they are, so it's not hard to put it on their bloody score sheet. Like cells level 4, coolers level 4, Earth Dragon Ball 7. Player used, tick, and sign, get players. I mean, it'll take 2 seconds out of the game to do it, but in the interest of transparency and fairness, I think we may actually just have to do it. Unless, if you honestly feel like your opponent is going to try and cheat you, or you yourself feel like, oh shit, I might forget this, just, sign that saying that, yeah, I've used this effect. That may be a way to have to go about it. Because as you say, it otherwise becomes a game of he said, she said, and if you've ever had a judge call where that's been the case, they take forever to do. Take forever to deal with. The judges don't really want to have to deal with them. It just becomes a nightmare. But I think having some sort of acknowledgement from both players that this effect has been used as soon as it's been used is probably where we'll have to go, especially for these high-end tournaments like Worlds and Nats and Regionals and things like that. I think that's where these sorts of things would need to come into.
And to end the topic on your original question, I still completely 100% deserve that loss.
Well, look,
and to understand how much of a piss I can take out on myself is that my player ID on that tournament was the mastery discarding blue head knock for Newcastle in reference to my top 8 game in Brisbane for my opponent. At Nationals, my deck ID was discard to 1 card, draw 3 cards.
Problem was, you didn't discard any cards.
Well, see, that's what I mean. That's why it's discard to 1. Well, I only had 2 at that point, it turned out. So
yeah.
See, I legit just thought I'd drawn 4 because the card that I'd kept in my hand was the top card of my discard pile as well.
Yeah. Chris, do you have any thoughts on once per game effects and keeping it all above board?
Honestly, I've never had a problem with it.
But you never do until you do. Once the horse is bolted, it's too late to lock the barn door.
I had a bit of a incident at Grafton with a player that was drawing extra cards, and I don't want to say cheating, but it's pretty hard to say he wasn't when he drew extra cards 3 times during the game. And we had a bit of a disagreement, and I think that I handled that well enough. If you suspect your opponent of being a person that's going to try and take advantage of this situation, you just call a judge. Obviously a judge doesn't have time to come and watch every single once per game effect, but if you're worried about your opponent, there is no reason why a judge can't come and watch them use their first once per game effect and then verify that has been used.
Yeah. This, as I've said many times for various different games, things like, if you're going to try and cheat me, well, well done you. You've cheated me out of Nats. If you cost me, hypothetically, if you'd cost me a Worlds invite, I'd be pissed if I found out you're cheating. And I would make that known to every person I possibly could, with as much evidence as I possibly could. But at regionals or something like that, if you're cheating me in the first round, well, fair fucking play to you. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're not exactly paying for sheep stations, are we?
I copped the you obviously want it more than I do comment from him after I called him up the 3rd time and said I was calling a judge. And he conceded, so I was just well, at the end of the day, I'm getting the win. And I went on to top cut that event.
Hello, fellow top cut.
Sorry?
I was saying hello, fellow top cutter of said event.
Yeah. That was actually it put a damper on what was otherwise a very fantastic event.
Yeah, it sort of shook you, because anyone who knows Chris and isn't trying to be a troll or a jerk knows that you have a high amount of integrity for pretty much everything you do. So they know that you don't go out of your way to cheat people. You know, it certainly impacted upon your day negative, an otherwise good day negatively for you, and that was very clear with just how you were feeling and what you were saying that day.
And not to mention, all of them were talking shit about me after I left.
As I heard, a lot of people talking shit about Newcastle players in general.
Well, all I've got to say there was who came third this year. It certainly wasn't the people that were cheating.
Hey, number 3, how you doing?
No, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
You're supposed to respond number 2. I have a joke where I call David number 1, and I expect him to call me number 2 in response.
Is that because you're shit?
Oh no, just because you're that far ahead of everyone else, right, Chris?
I can't give you the satisfaction.
That's alright. I'll look at the 2 trophies in my room and feel good about myself.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
That's alright. I've got as many trophies and playmats as Fahad.
I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get a trophy last year.
Yeah,
No, this year they lifted their game a heap.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to complain. Hey, the playmat was awesome. It's like number 47 of the playmats I own. But like,
I just sell every other playmat.
You still get to say you won a regional, which is something that I haven't achieved yet.
Yeah,
Second, third, and fourth just isn't good enough.
Look, it's funny because, like, if you talk about Magic, the prestige is in the top cuts. Like, winning or like coming first or second is almost just like, yeah, it's a little bit of extra gravy, but it's like, oh, you know, such and such is top cut, 8 times. That's where the prestige is. But doesn't seem to be that way in a lot of other games, does it?
Oh, it helps that their tournaments are 400 or 500 people.
This is also very true. But,
If we've broken down the chat, I want to ask Chris a question while I've got him on voice.
Yeah, go for it.
How do you feel about Orange 20 next set?
Let's just say I got something in the tank.
I look forward to the return of Dr. Giroux.
Oh, I like how you're now the Orange 20 player of Newcastle when I played it for...
You certainly did.
How long?
You certainly did play the deck for I wouldn't say you played it for longer than me, because I have played it for a very long time now, but you definitely played it before me. I am very, very much looking forward to the probably less than stellar players saying that I'm going to fill my Vegeta deck full of colorless or freestyle energy attacks, and I'm just going to be like, I feel bad because there was an Orange Yumptia player at Grafton that I did it to. The first turn of the game, I put Scouting Drill in play and then went to sleep. Like, this is what's going to happen to these Vegeta decks.
Does Vegeta level 1 say you can't prevent?
That's level 2.
No. Level 2.
So all I got to do is get those acquisition drills in play and a scouting drill, and then proceed to punch them in the head with power points and orange destructions.
Yep.
As bad as it sounds, this is probably going to be an unleashed deck, or this is going to be a camp level 1 deck.
So you can also just deny them the ability to even perform energy attacks.
Well, that's also true.
All the energy attacks and unpreventable attacks are going to mean nothing when you can trade them for 6 a turn.
Yeah.
Plus, hidden power drills are the thing that can happen.
Hey now. We're talking about cards. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Nobody runs hidden power drill.
Oh, I would say nobody.
Look, all I'm saying is that we've spoken all this time about Broly, and no one has played him in a hidden power drill deck yet, and that's even scarier.
Yeah, but like that really is the double-edged sword, is it not? Like, Broly's relying on his huge AT and going, well, I'm going to put myself at half. And
look at it this way: if I had to sacrifice 2, maybe 3 AT base to have my opponent literally have no stages whenever they level up, and or mill cards if I make it to level 2.
Oh yeah, no, I get where you're going with this. Yeah, it was very much the talk of the town when Broly was spoiled. It was like, holy fuck, hidden power drill. Oh man, that card's gonna be like $100+ because probably just be like, play hidden power drill. Then your opponent levels, like, go to 1 stage or less if you're higher. Oh. But it just never eventuated, did it?
But that's the funniest thing, is that you could literally run that to counter the Namekian Gohan and Blue Gohan decks that are around.
Yeah.
And they will be around next set.
They
and the Cell Junior deck set will be around next set. And the Cell deck set will be around next set.
You know, the more we talk about this, the more I just want to go, like, do a Dan and play Raditz with hidden power drill and menace loop them to death. Banish all their allies for good measure.
Well, how are you getting to level 4, Nathan? I ask.
I will unleashed.
Oh, funny that. I will unleash you right now.
Hey, look, if they want to give... It's like, this is the fucking thing. It's like, you play Unleashed, or you don't, and you bitch about it. If you play it, you're a bad guy, so...
If you're an Unleashed player, you live by the Unleashed, and you
die by the Unleashed. Oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
And that is why I will never, ever play a deck with Unleashed today.
You know, I think the card's horribly broken. I think that it shouldn't, probably shouldn't exist, or B, at the very least, should be errata to be you choose to either level or lower your opponent. But motherfucker, I will play that card if I have no other option to do so.
I actually think it should be the other way around. The effects.
How so? Like,
you search for an attach.
Mm-hmm.
You discard the attached to level.
Yeah, righto.
And then you lower your opponent the amount that are left.
Yeah, I can see that.
But amount that are left on you.
Yeah, no, I can see that. So if you want to jump 3 levels, you have to destroy 3 of them to jump, and if you have none left, you can't lower your opponent.
Correct.
Yeah, no, that almost feels like a better way to do it.
And then that also punishes the Unleashed mirror matches even harder, which will actually make people second guess about even running Unleashed.
You know, if you
want a card to have its intended benefit and what it can do in both ways, but to increase the risk, because that's how you get people to stop playing Unleashed.
Yeah.
Is you increase the risk of playing Unleashed.
We started talking about Raditz, and we lost 4 viewers. Well done.
I'm just trying to bring it back by saying, Unleashed! Unleashed!
Yeah, like, I could rail... I'm probably going to rail about this card once a month for the next, until it gets changed, or it rotates out, or whatever. Or freezes out. But, I sort of... I said this about Ginyu too, and I've said it a few times. Like, they've sort of like, it almost felt like they backed themselves into a corner as far as villain allies go, because Ginyu just goes, oh, I'll take that, put it here, I'll get it out, fun times. Like, Unleashed sort of feels like they're almost, in a way, curtailing the amount of power they can give to cards that do attach. Like,
and then they print Blue Rebuke.
Yeah, right. Or
which literally rewards you if they cannot win by MPPV.
Yeah.
I will go up a level, I will discard this other attached card to lower your level, and then search my deck for a Styles card.
But yeah. Well, we're encroaching the 2-hour mark here. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Does chat want to talk to us about anything? Or are we just beginning to waffle on and be painful in our hate?
I was going to say, I think we're rambling a little bit now. There's only so much I can whinge about Black Command in one night, and I think I've exhausted myself.
I think you've exhausted yourself for, like, the next 6 months about, like, over the last 2 days.
Can we talk about one positive?
Yeah, sure.
Can we talk more? Have you guys, by chance, seen the deck list that Carl ran at Nationals at top 16 with blue tag team trunks?
I have not. Is it on TAC or...?
It's on Retro, actually. He posted it on Retro, and I've been talking with him And the kid is actually a brilliant deck builder.
Yep. Is it an
the
image
kid's
or is it a deck
17.
list or what is it?
I've made a version of it in talking with him because it's part of a deck I'm looking at for next set.
Sure. If you have an image or something, we can put it on screen.
I'd just like to point out, like, I don't want to take anything away from the guy because it's obviously a different build, but Nick had a fantastic tag Trunks build. I've
True
actually
cards for
played.
days.
Yeah, I was gonna say I played it on stream against Nathan one time, and it's just I think it's a product of a good deck builder, and I respect Nick's deck building ability a lot.
Really? I don't.
I
Fuck you,
don't
Nick.
respect any of you. No, I'm kidding. I love you, man.
mate, I respect my own teammates. What? Yeah.
That's not a value we hold very highly in team visiting for time.
Yep. I hope that one day they will win events just to spite me. And I'll show them pride.
I will win a regional.
But yeah, to take it back to the blue tag team, Trunks. No, I haven't had a look at it.
That deck, I feel, if it got paired against any other deck in that top 16,
who did he play?
It got unfortunate. He played Bailey, Namekian Piccolo.
Sure. Namekian Piccolo made it through? Oh.
Namekian Piccolo was one action away from being at Worlds.
Yeah, right.
It literally... The game against Fahad, Fahad grasped victory from the jaws of defeat in top 8 and top 4. It was scary.
But yeah, no, I'm always happy to see these. I don't want to call them fringe decks, but they kind of really are. Do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it's definitely a fringe deck.
I think it's a product of the meta. It's not a fringe, it's an anti-meta deck of sorts.
Yeah.
In that the amount of physical blocks that it ran while still also being able to attack 5 to 6 times a turn with the level 1 and 2 that it was running, to be able to have Broly have no stages immediately.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in seeing this list.
I can't get an image of it, but it was well-rounded enough it could beat other things, but in a Broly meta, it's
funny because like my round 5 opponent was playing the new level 1 Roshi, and was trying to do the whole I'm going to put this card into play, so when you attack, you banish, and then you destroy the top card, blah blah blah. And like I get to 4 and I do my thing, and you know what I didn't expect to play at Nats though? I didn't expect to play blue protective Frieza. The gold Frieza. And I mean, like, I felt bad for the guy because he sits down and I see Frieza and I go, well, I just don't lose this game.
Was that guy actually just me from last year's Nats?
No, he had talent.
Rough. I can't argue with that.
But yeah, like,
remember, was it you I played in round 2 last year, Chris?
Maybe.
Did you play Red Garlic in round 2 last year?
Maybe.
How much alcohol had you consumed by that point?
Oh, I was actually quite drunk.
Were you running Dragon Ball?
Yeah, I remember the game now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
was that you?
That was me.
That's embarrassing.
That was possibly that was painful to experience. I mean, because it wasn't even that it was here's Red Garlic, which beats any Dragon Ball deck out there. It was also here. Let me draw knee lifts and steal the 5 Dragon Balls that you drew in the first combat.
Well, yeah, like my opponent was playing Frieza, and I did sell things. I wall breaking him at 1, and then had the hybrid defense or the energy block every time he wanted to go supernova, and I'm just like, I don't lose to you now. I get to 4. I don't lose to Frieza.
Freezer is a good level 1 away from being viable.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
You've got Golden Freezer at 2.
Mhm.
You copy said good new level 1 at 3, and you copy Golden Freezer at 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree.
On top of his ridiculous level 4 power.
Yeah. Yeah, Freezer. I think you're 100% right. I think if Freezer had a more viable level 1, or he'd be more of a player.
Or we just need to run Unleashed Freezer.
Let's not get hasty.
Oh, well, let's just talk about your favorite card.
Actually, we started talking about Unleashed again, and we got 2 new viewers back. So, maybe Unleashed gets the views.
No, we're at
I'm
8.
telling you, we just need to speak. We just need to say the buzzword.
First we get the money, then we get the Unleashed, and then we get the bitches, is what this happened, right?
Hey, don't go calling your viewers bitches.
Hey, Reese is on stream.
Yeah.
Hey, Reese was the only thing you could consider a match at Newcastle.
What? I mean, like, full credit to Reese. Like, that day blew my mind with how well he was playing. That said, his game 1 was literally, I gain 18 anger in the first combat of the game and win. So, like...
He gained 18 anger.
Yeah, he had 2 or 3 anger before the first combat of the game. For doing whatever he did. I think he played one of the androids, blew up the name of the guy. That's the fucking one. And then apparently in the very first combat of the game, decides I'm just going to gain 18 anger and win.
And people complain about Black Command.
Yeah, but like in combat, when they're actually doing things, you can interact with it. Like let's be honest, at that point he's a wall breaker away from being breaks on hard, right?
No.
Yeah, not in red.
I mean, do you not know what Android 15 does?
Yeah, but not in combat.
Yeah, sure, but you just impenetrable defense, hit an attack and combat, and search your deck for impenetrable defense, and there goes the wall breaker. And that's where we're going.
Yeah, look, it slows it down, okay? Cryptic Nitrogen, whose name I have no idea. I always said there should never be a card where you get to choose your level. Unleashed gives pretty much that power. I honestly don't think it should be left in the game. Now, Chris, did you just make another account to give another account on how bad you think Unleashed is?
No, this is not my handiwork.
It's Chris.
As much as
it's Mr. Hellman.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck that card. Fuck Unleashed. I'm going to burn my 3 copy. I won't do that.
Yeah. Can you give me one of them if you're going to burn them?
Sell them, oversell them, sell high.
You know what?
Sell now before it turns out it's a wild card.
We have 20 subscribers. If we get to 100, I'll burn an Unleashed.
We could sell them to win Jays.
How much is tax?
Sorry?
How much is tax selling them for?
How much is tax selling Unleashed for? Let's have a quick look.
No idea.
Every time I go to TAC, it just takes me straight to their organised play blog. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. The store.
That's just
Fuck Unleashed. Fuck, I hate that card. I will play it though. Why? Because I hate myself. Unleashed.
I like to win.
The logic is sound.
Yeah, right. Like $60. I'll burn $60.
So we'll sell them for $240 each.
Hey man, if someone wants to trade me 3 foil pesky barrages, I'm in.
For an Unleashed.
Yep.
Yeah, 75 to 75 in a normal person's land. Yeah, that works. A foil pesky still 25 each?
On TAC? No idea.
I just meant generally, like the black market.
Whoa.
Well,
African American market, thank you very much.
It's a foil uncommon, so it should probably be $15 maximum. But we've got 25 on TAC.
25 on TAC.
Yeah, well, I sold them 25.
Look, to be fair, I don't
Not even a shade. But that was literally, I pulled it, and 5 seconds later, there was $25 in my hand with the expectation that there would be a pesky barrage in their hand.
Did it happen, like... So, At one of the days in Newcastle, there's a guy who doesn't play too often, but he'll buy a box every now and then. And he was opening the box, and one of the local players, as soon as it's almost like he sensed the packs being open from across the other side of the room. Right on him, looking through these piles of cards. And I've said to him, "Do you know what a vulture is?" And he looked at me with the most blank look on his face. And I was just like, "Oh man, come on. The kid hasn't even opened his packs. Just let him open his packs, and if he wants to trade or sell something, he'll let it be known." But
I like opening packs.
I had that happen to me at Newcastle Regionals last year. I cracked my pack, my prizes, because I made top 8, and I dropped out in the first round of top 8 to Nathan Flanders, I think. And
I got vengeance for you.
I pulled my pack, I opened a dig, and then I had some guy reach over my shoulder, take the dig out of my hand, and put $70 in my hand. I was just like, "Oh, that just happened."
Are you sure that wasn't the thing he was reaching for?
Have you seen Chris's penis? It's okay. Neither is he. It's okay.
It certainly is not a I'll dig your grave. Yeah, Crispy, we have chatted about Black Command. I actually thought that you would argue more for the nerf of Black Command, Jono, but you seem to be actually pretty level-headed about the issues with the card.
I think the issues with the card was actually the double power.
The double dip of goodness.
Yeah, the double dip of goodness. I think it was an over now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just to give a rehash because I think I let you two just talk there. Something did need to be done, and I think Panini have taken the wrong approach.
Yeah, look, if we're going to tread all ground, we'll tread all ground. But yeah,
passive. No, well, because Chris asked, and I thought I'll appease him because I do like Chris. Is that something did need to be done, and as much as I don't like passive play in quotation marks, I do say I also hate draw 3 cards enter combat.
Yeah, there's a fine balance. There should be a fine balance.
There should be decks that punish. So a Black Roshi deck should be with 3 commands that shuffle with 2 anger. Should be there to punish Orange 20, which draws 3 drills.
Yeah, but at the same time though, you shouldn't be rewarded for skipping what one could argue is the key part of the game.
I think I thought of Black Command more as punish your opponent for not entering. But on the double-edged sword is that something had to be done because of the fact that Roshi wasn't ever punished for skipping combat.
Yeah, I mean, in our chat discussion, Nick made the point, and I'm not calling Nick out or anything like that, he made the point that if I slumber for 2 commands, I'm getting punished by taking damage. And I'm sort of sitting there going, but you're not getting punished, that's an when you slumber, you're looking at 10 cards in your deck, you make the conscious choice to go, I'm going to take some damage here, but I'm going to gain 4, maybe 5, maybe even more anger out of this. I'm okay with that. Because you're stripping an option out of your opponent's hand, because your first command is going to your discard, to your Devious Mastery. The second one's just getting discarded and shuffled at the end of combat. So, if you're at level 2, that's 6 anger. Look at that, I'm at level 3. You're not being punished. You're making the conscious decision to accept some small amount of damage for the huge upside that is, I'm just going to discard Black Command.
And that's assuming you haven't even said that for assistance for time,
Yeah.
Or that you want 3 where you can start the assistance time loop.
But there's an infinite amount of times where I've done that. I've slumbered into 3 commands just so I know that they couldn't end up in the discard pile, let my opponent halve my deck, and then shuffle them all back in at the end of combat just to be like, well, I level now and you've got to deal with these.
Yeah,
See, and that's a risk, because if your opponent wall breaks that combat,
yeah, this is true, but like, if they don't, you don't really lose anything for not trying, do you? Really, aside from half the life check in that situation.
There's always a risk and reward in a card game where you make moves like that. It's just the risk was way not like it wasn't enough to outweigh the reward.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I asked you guys the question earlier. Do we think perhaps Panini could have gone the route they did with Black Command MRP and gone, so temporarily this card says limit 1. Do you think they could have gone, temporarily this card says you gain anger if you banish it, and we'll come back and we'll see the numbers and we'll see what, if it's perhaps too strong or not enough, and, we'll tweak it further from there. So,
see, the problem as well is if you start talking about different effects in and out of combat, is you're now starting to talk about too much card text.
Yeah.
And that was the problem that Panini faced, is that instead of thinking about a midway nerf, they thought about card text space.
Yeah, but I mean, if you change it to be like Black Corruption, you're not really adding much more text. Like, you've seen the card. I'll go back to it on stream for people. There's plenty of text on there for another sentence.
I really think it should have just said all.
Which all games
Correct. I actually think that's the perfect balance.
I think that's fine. The problem with the card was the fact that when you were in combat, you got to discard it, and you took a card from your opponent, and you shuffled it in, and you gained 2 anger. Like, that is too many things for one card to be doing.
At a starter card too, right? Like, Trent's saying,
I don't think we even talk about starter cards anymore, because now we're done with set 1 print.
Yeah, but it's the equivalent of a common, right?
Sorry, I'll correct myself, because now it's official that it's been reprinted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a hunch once they said
Trent's here to ban shit posters. Good luck with that on my stream, Trent. Good luck with that. I'm going to make him a moderator. Sorry to cut you off, Jono. What were you saying?
Once they said that they weren't... Well, at the moment, from what I know, is that there aren't any cards being frozen until at least after Worlds. I think, yes, of course, but I mean cards.
Yeah.
I could rant all day about the Masteries being frozen, but I won't. But when they said that the cards weren't being frozen, because I thought Black Command and the Namekian Hybrid Defense were the two cards that could temporarily be frozen while they figure out what the hell Black does without it in its Slime Anger deck. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. No, once they said is that it was really obvious a nerf was coming, and the people who are complaining that the Namekian Hybrid Defense hasn't been nerfed, no one knows that yet, because no one knows if it's getting a reprint. They just announced those certain cards.
Yeah, I could almost bet that Hybrid Defense is getting frozen.
I don't think it will. I don't think anything changes to making a Hybrid Defense. I don't say that in what it needs to be. I think that if anything, that they're going to monitor. I think they're going to monitor over ARG, because at the moment, Australia's the only spot where Namekian has been really successful. There have been odd tidbits in America, but I don't think Panini are looking at Australia bracket or my results with Namekian Piccolo and going, crap, Hybrid Defense needs a nerf.
Look, Chris, we have often said in amongst the group, when people are like, oh shit, what do I play for this event? We're like, well, if you want a top cut, you can play Piccolo, but you're probably not going to win the event. It'll get you good results, but not too many Piccolos, like Namekian, rather, has won events.
That's actually something that Phil McGrath said. It's one of the things that he posts that I haven't read and disagree with. I think that the right Namekian hasn't been built because I think most Americans turn to John Milner. And I don't think that he's a bad player. I think that sometimes his deck choices don't look to the ones and twos of that say the better, like the people that I speak to that play Namekian here, person in Simon and myself, when we build Namekian, I think you'll find that there was 23 one-offs in my deck that I ran in Brisbane.
What's the trend? To have a world's top 4 player and exclude the player base from some form of guide would be a bit strange. I have no idea what he's on about there. Trent, what are you on about?
He's drunk with power.
Team visiting for time, the last bastion of free speech and shitposting.
You can feel free to shitpost here and you won't get banned.
Well,
unless you're Millsy and you say something about 6 out of 7, then I'll fucking ban you so fucking hard.
Have you heard about that, Jono? If you
please
want to
explain.
Please explain. If you really want to grind Chris's gears, as it were, just rate anything he says or does a 6 out of 7.
I read that comment a 6 out of 7.
Yeah, there was a local tournament where he was like, I was running 7 Dragon Balls, but there's only 6 in my deck.
Someone took my ball 7 out of my deck. And I had won by DBV like halfway through the game.
Except that he didn't have ball 7, so he couldn't.
It's like I radared for the last ball and it wasn't there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't tilt and I don't get salty very often, but I did both those things very hard that night.
Also, when people are talking about the looping hybrid defense, sorry, I'm going to go back because
no, by all means.
Looping hybrid defense.
By all means.
That's one card that you know is in their hand. There is a surprising amount of event hate in the game, and one of my favorite cards in the game is the best one of the event hate. And I'll defend
Same
the card.
donation?
No, Red Combine Blast.
Yeah, look,
Blackswell does a good job.
Yeah,
but you blacks.
One of the local players here was playing a restored slug and was looping hybrid defense like a motherfucker. Like goes to the bottom, goes to hand, goes on top, or goes whatever. But you're just like, well, I know you've got it, and I know to the detriment of his gameplay, he was keeping hybrid defense in hand the whole time. You're just like, well, I have a sphere. I know you have hybrid defense, and you have nothing else I need to worry about. So, good work.
See, there's another good comment by Chris. There's so much event hate, but no one runs it. And at the same time,
that's their fault, though.
Isn't that then playing devil's advocate? The same response an Unleashed player would say.
Yeah, but fuck those guys.
You don't lose a game when someone plays hybrid against you once.
What about for the 18th time?
Then you do.
Maybe.
Wait, okay, so like my last round of Grafton, Chris. My last round of Grafton, between hybrid defense and Aerialney, I rejuvenated 16 cards in the last combat. Against Namekian Piccolo.
Yeah.
Hey Nathan, between our game of Namekian Cell and Red Garlic, how do you think I held on?
Exactly right.
That's their fault for not having discard hate, though. There is infinite number of ways to deal with things, and it might just be because I play the toolbox, I'll get rid of your tools and get rid of what I can't deal with.
Trent's absolutely right. People use Restored wrong. If you're showing your opponent where the card you're putting where, you're doing it. If you're showing your opponent where the card you're putting where, I'm assuming he's meaning where you're putting it, you're doing it wrong. I've had people numerous occasions, right, from Grafton all the way to Nats this year going, oh, so what card did you put on top, or what card did you put on bottom? I'm like, I don't have to tell you. I just tell you that I put a card to my hand. I then shuffle my hand up, and then I go, I'm putting this card on top or bottom. Like,
yeah, I don't stop them from telling me.
Oh no, no, right. If you want to tell me, if you want to reveal that information, that's on you, buddy. Like, sweet.
Yeah, the amount of times that they've just grabbed their hybrid off the bottom, put it on the top, you're like, all right.
Like, occasionally I'll do the whole shortcut thing. I'll go, okay, I gotta use my end of, I'm gonna rejuve this card, still have it in my hand, but end of turn, and I'll put it on top. But that's only ever at the beginning of the game where it's like, well, I want to have this there just in case. But then after we get to the mid game part or just getting out of that early game, that's when it's like, all right, now I'll start, not telling you or letting you know what card's going where. That's your business to try and work out.
The other thing is that no one's utilizing the put it back on the bottom part as well.
No, I do on occasion. I'll use it on occasion if I've got. What was that one I was doing the other day? I'm happy to put a dragon. If I know where certain Dragon Balls are, I'm happy to put them on the bottom or something like that. So, for example, they've got DB3 in play and I've got it in hand. I'll put a DB on the bottom, or I'll put. I've put Hybrid Defense on the bottom before, but that was generally because I had a hybrid in hand already, and I'm at level 4, so I can just go find whatever I want anyway. So
yeah, but also one of the things to trip your opponent out, you put it at the bottom, draw 3 cards, enter combat, and it's like, wait, where's their Hybrid Defense?
Yeah, but that's true. But people, you're playing Namekian, and people have a massive rage boner for Hybrid Defense, so they're always going to assume you have at least one.
Exactly, but that's what makes it even better, is that the turns you don't. There are turns where I'd rather have a flinch in my hand than a Hybrid Defense.
Yeah, no, I agree. However, in a lot of the games, in quite a few of the games I've played, you're putting more. You're assuming that people are paying closer attention than they actually do 9 times out of 10. There are certain players where you just never get away with that because they'll think like that. But for the most part, I find that they don't. So you're almost outplaying yourself in a lot of ways.
I love it when people do that.
Yeah,
play Dylan in pressure games more often than.
Sorry?
Play Dylan in pressure games more often than. Or Chris, so he forgets to use Roshi level 3.
Oh, man.
Man, you have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea how burnt out I was at that point.
David and Fahad, when we were at dinner after that thing, we're like, John, I think I did something at the end of combat at one point. I used an effect at the end of combat. I think it was Wish. I used Wish to end combat. And then suddenly they're like, that was a terrible thing to do because at that point he surely should have, you would have thought that he could remember. And I said, if he hadn't remembered by that point, he was never ever remembering again.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I remembered when it was too late, and I'm just I sure you seen me just sit back in my chair and I was like, fuck.
You should have heard, at my place, I had Reese and I had Maddie with us, and we were screaming at the TV because I had my play on Twitch. I'm going, fucking Chris! Trigger!
And
it triggered you.
Oh man, it's so hard.
It's a case of what could have been, but I don't think Lynn was beating me in the finals if I'd gotten there. Maybe. Well, if I was that shade. If I was that burnt out, might have, but I'm pretty comfortable in the red 13 matchup, so
20
of
anger
course,
out of nowhere.
All the both of you are doing is sitting there and just discarding cards that raise anger out of combat and leveling up.
Yeah, except mine did it more consistently than 13s do.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to play
Not anymore,
smallest violin for you, buddy.
Yeah, you do that. All the way back down from, table 14?
Yep, that's okay. As long as you hear it. As long as you hear it.
Hey, but no, look, to be honest, in terms of how ruined your preparation. Not ruined, I shouldn't say, is that you did have a rough time coming into the Saturday of the regionals, that is, the Brisbane one.
What was that, sorry?
Your Brisbane regionals prep, you didn't exactly have the most fun time coming into Brisbane.
No, not at all. But that's not an excuse.
No,
I
but
know,
like,
you'd be surprised.
but like, this is the thing.
You would be
Chris,
surprised how much of a difference waking up in the place that you're playing after having a nice night before makes a difference.
And having a good breakfast is something that I rate highly.
That's why I had a buffet breakfast in Newcastle.
Yeah, look, I can't deny that waking up in my own bed an hour before the event and being like, oh, I'll be here on time. Wasn't nice. Chris is asking, in terms of the next set, I've heard Hercule will be the new Roshi. Thoughts?
Roshi is the new Roshi.
Hercule is shit.
Hercule's
loses
going
to
win.
double Vic.
Yeah, Hercule's going to beat me at some point, but I'm not overly concerned by him. If you have if you have 2, maybe even 3 win conditions, you probably shouldn't lose to Hercule.
Yeah.
Unless you're Broly.
Well, I mean, there's always that.
I'm not against that though.
you're picking Broly as the lesser of 2 evils.
No, I'm not against Broly not being able to win.
No, Broly does beat Hercule.
Oh, because
eventually what's going to happen is they banish the top 2 cards, so they banish the ball.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole idea. I'm going to have 7 Dragon Balls and I'm going to just live forever. I mean, have fun with that. I'll play my Dragon Balls and watch you banish them one after the other until you have 3 cards, and you go, and I go, combat?
and what's it going to do against the Piccolo? Or just any mech in there?
Oh, it's 3 parts of fuck all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fred says, if you're good, you're not going to risk the crapshoot that is Hercule. Yeah, look, 100%. 100%. It's funny, Tibetao, call it out, Tibetao wins worlds with Hercule. But, I don't think any serious players are going to rock up with Hercule unless they've either A, locked up all the points or invites, whatever have you, for worlds, B, just want to have a bit of fun, or C, have something really freakishly good.
I think Hercule wins Dragon Prix and then does not top cut worlds.
Yeah. Prediction, okay, well, since we're on the worlds train, any prediction on what will win worlds?
Orange 20.
I'm going to tap out on this one because I'm helping a few of the guys with their decks.
Okay, so you're just going to go, I'm saying an Australian.
I'm saying an Australian will win worlds.
Fair enough.
And I'm not even saying it's someone that's qualified yet.
Has Quan hasn't qualified yet, has he?
No, I'm trying to butter up Trent.
Oh, well, there's lots of that, I suppose.
I just want to see if he's still listening, because I know he'll respond to that.
Well, we'll see. Chris, you honestly saying Orange 20, or is that your...
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a same case. There's going to be a whole heap of Vegeta and a whole heap of Goku throwing a whole lot of energy attacks, and I think Orange 20 is just going to sweep them up. I'll say 20. It may not be Orange.
Orange is still the best 20 because you can just search for that. If you go, what is actually the thing with Orange Resolute? Is it on your first turn, or is it first turn, or is it tag team? So it is tag.
I'm pretty sure I've got it in one of these image folders. I'll put it up on the screen. Continue to talk amongst yourselves.
I can see your argument about 20. I think the only way it beats some of the decks is not just from the entering combat, but what you draw to get set up.
Yeah.
Because I also don't know how it beats Hercule.
Orange Retribution Mastery, it's on screen. Parenthetical text, at the start of your opponent's first turn, search your life deck for a styled, non-continuous drill and place it into play. Trent's saying, I still have a few tricks up my sleeve for the LCQ. It's time to turn back the clock to 2002 when I smashed US player face.
Yeah.
He's gonna come in with a fucking what is it? I can't even remember now.
Well done.
You've done God's work there.
Who was it? It was an MP in score, and it was like
you can see what I paid him for there, Jono.
Draw 5 cards and fucking raise 4 anger, and then his level 2 was like draw 6 cards.
Capco.
Yeah,
He was nerfed under 72 hours from World Game Saga release. There was one regional where it was legal, and the next day it was nerfed.
You know what? I'm sad that Cell, in his former glory, didn't even get to do that. Makes me sad. But
it doesn't make me sad.
Oh man. Orange 20, you reckon, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 20.
And I'll say whatever one of the decks that the Australians take.
Ooh, you'll have to tell us in the on the chat in the server. Look, as much as it pains me to say it, I
don't even think I'd go that far in just saying. I think I respect the privacy too much in terms of. I love you guys, but I also have to think about what they're looking at and how much they want to talk about to who.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Trent saying, "Tell me what 20 does well in this meta." Well, I mean, like, that's the other question, right? Like, that's the flip side. Sure, a new set comes out, but the new set comes out how many days before Worlds? We're looking at a release date of the 28th in America. So
2 weekends.
Yeah, 14, 15 days. Like, are we really expecting that big of a meta shift in 2 weeks?
We are talking pretty much. It's about the same tournament frame. It's one less week, but there's the same amount of tournaments before Worlds.
Yeah,
more. There's less week, but there's one more major tournament before Worlds with this set.
Yeah, but do you then play it safe and go, I know this deck does well, I'll play that? Or do you go, this is it. If I need to qualify, I'm going to have to brew up and play with a new meta.
Well, but you see that there's going to be a lot, like, you don't have set 1 masteries anymore. Like, that's going to have the meta shift.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I can see there being blue Gokus, red Vegetas, and then, like, if that was the case, 20 walks all over that meta.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Look at it this way. With Worlds, it was Nampigs, Black Krillins, Blue Ginus, those sort of things did well, but the final was 2 brand new decks.
Yeah.
What was it? Because it was Farhad with Black Krillin, and I think it was David Penner and the other one who also played Black Krillin.
Mm-hmm.
So you had those two, and Black Krillin gets stomped by Orange 20. And that was what Orange 20 was perfect for. It was the anti-set 3 meta deck.
Yeah, Orange 20 was certainly a very good meta call for that for like a small tournament, and that's what it comes to. Like, historically, these the card games, it sort of comes down to picking the meta at a smaller event as much as anything else. And Orange 20 was certainly the best meta call for that tournament.
I still think Red Garlic would have won that. And I dare anyone to challenge as a reason why it wouldn't have.
Because Orange 21.
And Red Garlic doesn't beat Orange 20.
Ooh. Them's fighting words, boy.
Ooh.
Did you feel the tension right there?
Yeah, it's huge.
Never lost to a red garlic with Orange 20.
You
I mean-
never played me.
No, you're right. I haven't.
Have you guys, like, apart from Brizzy, have you actually ever played each other?
Yeah, we did. Chris discovered tonight about the red garlic blue freezer game, and that's last year.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
last year.
yeah. How many games have we completed, Jono?
I still think that red cooler, blue cooler game would be continuing now.
Probably.
Oh, I played Jono at Sydney regionals as well.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Oh. Totally
We were
memorable
both on
for
the
both of you.
we were both on the verge of passing out at that point. So,
I was so dehydrated at Sydney.
And then
eaten all
I
day.
stepped up with a bottle of water for you, Chris.
It was amazing.
I should be your favourite, just saying.
That's it. That's why he won the game. It was on your back, Nathan.
There you go. There you go.
He won the game. Damn it! He got a result.
Do you know what was even more special about Chris's appearance at Newcastle regionals?
Enlighten me before.
It was the day of his daughter. It was the day of his daughter's birthday. How old was you? How old did your daughter turn that day, Chris?
5. I regret nothing.
Misty's 5-year-old daughter's birthday.
I was going to say, yeah, there was a chance that I could have been going to Worlds, and I wasn't doing that up.
Yeah. It still makes me laugh. Did you cop any flack from your missus?
A lot.
Fair enough. Well, we've been doing this shit talking for 2.5 hours now, and I think we're officially scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as content goes. Either of you guys want to say anything before we wrap things up?
No, I'm going to go to bed.
Free the butler.
Yeah.
Man, Australia.
Free the 15 Australians that got banned off Retro today.
Can I question how I'm not one of them?
I don't even know.
Free the content. Yeah, Jono, you just don't shitpost enough. Or well enough. Or both.
Isn't it that I do it best if I manage to get away with it?
Well, I mean, quite possibly. Anyway,
I don't know. It's I think it's how fast you can get banned off Retro, because like one of the kids posted a picture on Retro. I left the thread that they were talking about posting the picture to go to Retro to look at the picture, and they'd already been banned.
Oh man, those Yanks just can't handle the quality content that Australians put out.
I just can't wait until like there is a more free flow of Australian players in America, so we can actually towel them up like I know we can.
Well, trip to Worlds next year.
Maybe.
We'll go even if we don't get invites.
I'll probably be able to afford that next year if I'm around.
Definitely going to go shoot some
M60s in the desert. Yeah, boy. What I'll do is I'll take Unleashed out there and we can just go shoot them out in the desert.
You know what's going to be heaps good though? Being able to shit post in real life. Then what are they going to do?
Shooters.
Ban you from the event.
That was my joke, is that I actually couldn't go because I would probably get shot.
Anyways, I'm out, kids.
Alright guys, thank you everybody who tuned in. If you enjoyed, hit the little like button, it would help us out. Subscribing also does that. You can find us on Facebook. Just subscribe if you follow us there if you haven't already. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Jono, it's been a pleasure having you on. We'll have to get you on another time.
Yeah, feel free to get me on after World. I will have a lot to say about the Australian decks and rage them for why they didn't play what I said to.
Yeah, I mean, I have my own thoughts about what to do while Worlds is going on, so we'll have to have a chat with the team about that. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for Jono, thank you Chris, and we shall catch you bastards next time. Goodbye.
So it is.